they call Naoya Inoue the monster. Not because it sounds intimidating, but because once you step into the ring with him, escape stops being an option. Fighters can circle, run, or hide behind high guards, yet somehow the punches still arrive. And when they do, they land with the kind of precision and force that turns elite contenders into cautionary tales. In boxing, power alone isn't enough to dominate an era. Plenty of fighters punch hard. What separates Inoue is something far more unsettling for his opponents. He doesn't just hit hard, he sets traps. Every jab is a question, every feint a lure, every step forward a calculated move in a fight that often ends before the opponent realizes they've walked straight into danger. By October 31, 2020, Inoue stood at the summit of the bantamweight division. Fresh off his thrilling World Boxing Super Series victory over the legendary Nonito Donaire, he held the WBA and IBF titles and carried an aura of inevitability with him into every ring. On Halloween night in Las Vegas, Jason Moloney stepped forward as the next challenger. Maloney was no easy assignment. The Australian had built a reputation as a pressure fighter with grit and confidence, the type of boxer who thrives in chaos and welcomes exchanges. But confidence can become a dangerous illusion when standing across from a fighter who thrives on dismantling it piece by piece. From the opening bell, Inoue imposed a tempo that Maloney simply couldn't match. The champion moved forward with subtle footwork, his shoulders relaxed, his eyes locked on every twitch of his opponent. The jab came first, sharp, fast, and authoritative. Maloney tried to stay active, throwing counters and attempting to close the distance, but each effort seemed to collide with a wall of timing. Inoue's punches weren't thrown recklessly. They were measured, like instruments in a carefully orchestrated performance. Early exchanges revealed the terrifying balance in Inoue's game. When Maloney tried to step inside, a crisp left hook snapped his head back. When he hesitated at range, a straight right pierced through the guard. Even Maloney's occasional successes came with a price. Each moment of offense left him exposed to counters that landed with frightening accuracy. As the rounds progressed, the pressure intensified. Inoue's speed forced Maloney to think too quickly, process too much, and react too late. A double uppercut slipped through Maloney's defense in one exchange, the crowd gasping at the audacity and precision of the shot. It wasn't just the power, it was the way Inoue seemed to predict the fight seconds before it happened. By the middle rounds, Maloney's plan had begun to unravel. The champion's presence alone was exhausting. Every jab carried weight. Every step forward pushed the challenger closer to the ropes. Maloney attempted to respond with determination, landing the occasional right hand, but Inoue barely flinched. Instead, he calmly reset and continued building the trap. Then, in the sixth round, the moment arrived. Maloney stepped forward behind a double jab, a textbook move meant to close distance safely. But boxing textbooks don't account for fighters like Inoue. The champion leaned back just half a step, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, and unleashed a devastating left hook. The punch landed perfectly between Maloney's gloves, the kind of shot that feels like the air itself has turned against you. Maloney crumpled to the canvas. The challenger rose bravely, refusing to surrender. But bravery can't restore equilibrium once it's gone. Inoue sensed blood in the water, stalking forward like a predator that knows the hunt is nearly over. Moments later, another thunderous right hand detonated on Maloney's jaw, sending him crashing down once more. The referee counted, but the fight was effectively finished. The monster had done it again. If that performance reinforced Inoue's dominance, his next fight demonstrated another terrifying dimension of his skill set. In 2021, he returned to Las Vegas to defend his titles against Filipino contender Michael Dasmarinas. On paper, Dasmarinas was dangerous. He possessed power and had earned his mandatory position through steady victories. Yet from the moment the fight began, it was clear he was dealing with something extraordinary. Dasmarinas spent much of the opening round circling cautiously, trying to avoid the heavy artillery he knew was coming. Inoue tracked him patiently, cutting off the ring with subtle angles. Then the body attack began. The first left hook to the liver arrived late in the second round. It didn't look devastating at first, just another punch in a brutal sport. But seconds later, Dasmarinas collapsed to the canvas, his body shutting down as the delayed pain surged through him. Liver shots are among boxing's cruelest weapons, and Inoue wielded them with surgical precision. Dasmarinas survived the count, but the damage was done. Inoue returned to the body again and again, targeting the same spot with ruthless consistency. Each punch drained the challenger further, leaving him gasping for air. By the third round, another crushing body shot forced Dasmarinas down for good. 3 knockdowns, all from body punches, ended the contest in emphatic fashion. But perhaps the most defining moment of Inoue's career came against the man who had once pushed him to his limits. Nonito Donaire. Their first encounter in 2019 had been a war, a 12-round epic that left both men battered. Donaire's experience and power had tested the young champion like never before. Though Inoue emerged victorious, the fight became one of boxing's modern classics. When they met again in June 2022, the stakes were even higher. 3 bantamweight world titles were on the line, and the rematch carried an air of unfinished business. This time, Inoue approached the fight with a different energy. The patience of their first encounter was gone. Instead, he attacked with a controlled fury. Early in the opening round, a sudden right hand exploded against Donaire's temple, sending the Filipino legend crashing to the canvas. The crowd erupted in shock. Donaire, a future Hall of Famer known for his resilience, had rarely been dropped so cleanly. The second round was even more decisive. Inoue pressed forward relentlessly, mixing hooks, straight rights, and body shots with breathtaking speed. Donaire tried to fight back, true to his warrior spirit, but the champion's power was overwhelming. Another crushing combination dropped him again, forcing the referee to wave off the fight. In just 2 rounds, Inoue had erased any doubts about who ruled the bantamweight division. Later that year, he faced Paul Butler with one final goal in mind: becoming the undisputed champion at 118 pounds. Butler entered with the WBO title, the last belt Inoue needed to complete the set. Many critics dismissed Butler as a defensive fighter who would try to survive rather than win. For several rounds, that prediction seemed accurate. Butler circled the ring, covering up behind a tight guard while Inoue patiently hunted him down. The champion dissected the defense piece by piece, landing body shots and combinations that echoed through the arena. Round after round, Butler absorbed punishment but offered little offense. By the 11th, the pressure became unbearable. Inoue unleashed a brutal barrage against the ropes, a storm of punches that finally broke through Butler's defenses. A crushing shot sent him down, and the referee stepped in moments later. With that victory, Inoue became the undisputed bantamweight champion of the world. Yet even that achievement wasn't enough. In the summer of 2023, he moved up to super bantamweight to challenge Stephen Fulton, one of the division's most skilled tacticians. Fulton had built his reputation on intelligence and durability, often dragging opponents into exhausting battles. Many believed his size and ring IQ would present the toughest puzzle of Inoue's career. Instead, the fight became another showcase of dominance. From the opening rounds, Inoue disrupted Fulton's rhythm with a blistering jab and explosive combinations. Fulton attempted to adjust, landing occasional counters, but the speed difference was glaring. By the 4th round, a sharp 1-2 split Fulton's nose, blood beginning to pour as the champion increased the pace. The decisive moment came in the 8th. A monstrous right hand crashed into Fulton's head, dropping him hard. As Fulton struggled to recover, Inoue surged forward with a final barrage, forcing the referee to stop the fight. With that victory, Inoue captured 2 more world titles in his new division. And he wasn't finished. In December 2023, he faced Marlon Tapales with undisputed glory at super bantamweight on the line. Tapales, a unified champion himself, proved tougher than many expected. He endured heavy shots and even produced moments of offense, refusing to crumble under the relentless assault. But against Inoue, resistance only delays the inevitable. In the 10th round, the champion finally found the opening he had been patiently constructing all night. A perfectly placed right hand pierced through Tapales' guard, sending him crashing down. Tapales tried to rise, but his body refused. The count reached 10. Inoue stood alone in the ring, now the undisputed champion in a second weight class. 4 years, boxing fans have searched for the fighter who represents the sport's perfect balance of power, speed, and intelligence. Naoya Inoue may be the closest answer the modern era has produced. His punches carry the brutality of a knockout artist, yet his approach to the sport resembles a master strategist. Every fight is a puzzle he solves with ruthless efficiency. Opponents don't just lose to Inoue, they slowly realize they've been outmaneuvered from the very beginning. That's why they call him the monster. Not because he roars or intimidates, but because once the trap closes, there's no escape. And the scariest part for the rest of boxing is this: he might not even be finished yet. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Naoya Inoue's most brutal knockouts and the story behind his dominance, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Inoue is the most dangerous pound-for-pound fighter in boxing today? And who do you believe has the best chance of stopping the monster in the future? Share your opinion in the comments below, and if you want more dramatic boxing stories like this one, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next fight breakdown.